Not everyone is going to support you in your goals. That might be a hard one to comprehend, to get your head around, but in my experience, people always come to me and they say, my wife's going to be behind me, my friends are going to be behind me, I've got such a big support network. And I always say to them, time and time again, that's not going to happen. Because people find it far easier to support people in their pain than they do when they want to become more resilient, more robust, and a man of strength. That's just the way it is. It's nothing personal. They have an image of you, and the image they have of you is connected to the image they have of themselves. So when you change, it makes them uncertain and they have to adjust. If they don't adjust, they might likely just move away from you. But this idea of a support network, people are always disappointed. It's one of the reasons people's visions fail, is because they think everyone's going to support them. They will not. The amount of people that said to me, I really thought my wife would be behind me on this. My best friend, it's the last person I would have expected to try and sabotage my goals. It's nothing personal. It's they're trying to adapt to the changing you, because it means then they have to change as well. So when I was a bodybuilder, I was extremely disciplined, but a lot of the friends around me didn't like it. It highlighted their own lack of discipline, their own lack of control, and they tried to get me to break my diet. They tried to get me to drink more alcohol. They spoke about me behind my back, how it's unhealthy what I was doing. In reality, it was shining a light on their inability to do it. They didn't have the capacity to train themselves that way in anything. And so it made them feel very uncomfortable about their own failures in life and what they couldn't do. And when I fell ill after bodybuilding for a long period of time, those same people celebrated my illness. They told me I would never train again. They told me that was it now. You know, the training that made you ill and you should never do anything like that again. Once again, they tried to draw me into their mindset, how they saw the world, how they perceived it, in order to make themselves feel better. It feels such a betrayal. It feels so personal, but it's not. It's not personal. Everybody sees the world according to how they are, not how it really is. And so anything outside of that often makes them feel frightened, inadequate, fearful of the future. So they try to contain it and restrict it in a way that's comfortable for them. And this is why members of the public celebrate the downfall of celebrities, the downfall of sports stars, whoever it may be, because it makes them feel better about their own inadequacies. It makes them feel better about their own life because they don't have to achieve such a high level of accomplishment in life, because they think, well, look, it's not worth it. There's that fall from grace. It just makes them feel better. So I want to look at 2 reasons people don't achieve their goals and the reason they shrink back into old conditioned habits. Number 1, they were not prepared for the reactions of other people. This is not always malicious intent. It's not always about people deliberately trying to sabotage your goals. Sometimes it is. I'm going to give you some graphic examples in a moment from my own coaching experience. Sometimes it's just they can't understand it. I remember once when I was heavily involved in martial arts, I broke my wrist at probably one of the toughest classes in the country, and I was in hospital in a lot of pain. I think I was in my mid-30s by then. And I'd been doing it for many, 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 many years. And family and friends came to the hospital. I couldn't even drive the car home. Somebody had to get it home for me. And they all said, what are you doing? It's time to quit. Next time it's going to be really serious. You can't keep damaging yourself like this. And of course they meant well, but they were seeing things from their point of view, from their restrictions, from what they thought they couldn't do. They weren't looking at it from my mindset and what I was out to achieve. So it's not always malicious, but people won't always understand your ambitions and your goals, and they don't have to. They don't have to. As long as you thoroughly understand it and what the sacrifice is, they don't have to. But I guarantee, if you've got a big group of friends, or you think you have, then you'll only get 1 or 2 that support you. It might just be 1. It might be none. But it's not always about deliberate malicious intent. Sometimes it's about they just don't understand, and they don't have to. So let me give you the extreme example of malicious intent. So what I have seen, and these are all true stories, I've seen a man wreck his life over alcohol, and he quits it, and the group of friends he's with do their utmost to get him back on alcohol. Even the man's own parents that also like to have a drink try to get him back on alcohol. Now think about that. Here's a man that wrecked his life through alcohol, and his friends and his own parents are trying to get him back on it, so that they feel better about themselves. Because what happens when someone gives up alcohol to that extent, where it was damaging his whole life, it highlights the addiction in other people. And that's where they try and pull them back. There's another one as well. I had a father get his son hooked on alcohol and drugs deliberately, so he had a partner, a buddy to do it with. These are not people living in poverty, by the way. These are people with a lot of money. Just in case you might think, well, that's like a poverty end of society. It's not. These people were very, very wealthy, very rich, and this is what they did. So there's a father that got his son deliberately hooked on alcohol and drugs so that he could have a partner to do it with. I've seen mothers and fathers deliberately emotionally blackmail their sons with guilt and shame when they tried to change, to the point where the son almost thought about committing suicide. How about that? This is human nature here. So much emotional blackmail from him wanting to spread his wings and expand beyond what they ever did. They hit him with the amount of guilt and shame where he actually felt suicidal. Now that's the other end. These are extreme examples. They are extreme examples, but I just want to get across that when you go to change something in your life, don't expect everybody to rally around you, waving banners and cheering you on, because they won't. And that's one of the big reasons people fail, is they weren't prepared for that. So it's to be done for you as an individual without the support of other people. Yes, you may get one or two, fantastic. But to be honest with you, you never know who they are until you try and expand. So many people say, my best friend will support me, or my wife will support me, or my husband will support me. And then they've come to me back and say, you were right, I can't believe it. I'm so hurt. You've got to be prepared for it. This is your vision, your goal. And you might get people come with you. You might get people expand with you. But you might get some people that need to drop away. You might get some people you need to not see because they're so intent on destroying your vision. And that self-sufficiency, that self-leadership is your power source, not the opinions of other people and the support of other people. Number 2, they were not prepared for their own inner resistance. This is a big one. So we have this idea that when we change, when we go on a really serious plan, in 2 weeks we've left those old habits behind. But here's the reality of what happens. Those old scripts and narratives you've been carrying around for many years will come to the surface and get stronger. They are kicking and screaming to stay alive because you've drawn them into the light. For instance, if your habit was junk food and you're invested in that and you move away from it, all those thoughts and feelings will come out into the surface, kicking and screaming for light again and to be fed. They will tell you, you need a reward today. Ignore it. Go back on your food. You have a reward. This is pointless. Who do you think you are? All these thoughts come into your head. They're old scripts, old narratives from the past that will do their utmost to get you to fail. And people are not prepared for that. There's this idea I see in modern personal development. People say, well, once you've done 2 to 4 weeks, you'll be changed and you won't get those feelings anymore. You won't know actually until you hit a period in your life of stress, because it's when you hit a period of stress and turmoil, the natural default is to go back to what you did before. Drinking, taking drugs, eating junk food, lying, whatever it may be. So you don't know until you actually hit a period of stress. So I encourage people, whilst they're changing themselves, creating a new identity, to also pursue a pathway that's going to create stress so we can give ourselves a testing ground to see if those things stand up under pressure. We can all speak in front of a therapist once a week or once a month talking about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, but we need an action plan and needs to be put into action, because that's the only way you'll find out if under pressure you've really changed those habits. And this is why people join coaches. They have coaches, they join groups of like-minded people that are also ambitious, that are also wanting to change, because they know they need to be around a like-minded group of people that is going to support them and understand what they're trying to achieve. If you haven't got that, you're going to struggle. So it's really important to first be around a coach that knows what he's doing and around a group of people that also can support you on that journey. So remember, strong men encourage other men to be strong, resilient and robust, and weak men will try and drag you down to their level and get some sort of control over you. You may have to create space at first to protect yourself. You may have to deliberately remove yourself from the company of people that don't want the best for you. One of our most popular topics on our course we call the courage of self-protection, where we go into protecting yourself from external influences, sometimes where you least expect it, in order to continue on the path you've chosen to pursue. So understanding those 2 points and expecting them to rise will make your success far more likely. So have a look at those 2 points of the opinions of other people and that internal resistance, that inner battle that takes place within inside you. And if you can understand and be prepared for 2 of them, you will succeed. Feel free to comment below. Happy to answer any questions on this video today.